The more I read white people's comments in the comment sections on YouTube, the more I think that white people as a collective are pathological. Maybe I shouldn't say collective. Maybe it's just a segment of the white population, but these behaviors are fairly consistent, that we see. And what I noticed is that when white people feel that they are wrong, they become the biggest victims in the world. They want white reparations, right? But when we talk about black reparations, all of a sudden, white people try to act like black people are speaking a foreign language. And I'll give you two primary examples, right? So recently, Remington or Remington's insurers, I don't know whether it was the company or the insurers, paid out $78 million to the families of $78 million to the families of the Sandy Hook shooting, right? And it all revolves around advertising and this notion that, because they got some weird law in Connecticut about how you advertise firearms, and they basically tried to say that, this whole toxic masculinity, get your manhood, if you don't have a such and such an AR-15, then consider your manhood card revoked or something like that, right? So this was the narrative, right? So they ran with that and they settled in court. So it wasn't really a judgment, it was a settlement. Like basically either Remington or their insurers or whatever, they just said, let's just be done with it. And usually with settlements, there's like a stipulation in there. You can't talk about this, you can't that. We don't want to hear about it anymore. We want it to go away. Because otherwise they'll be sitting in court forever, back and forth, and constantly paying out fees. So sometimes it's better to just cut your losses. Still under the weather. So anyway, that's what they did. Okay, and hold on a second. I don't know what that shit is from. So anyway, so they want the payout, right? The victims of Sandy Hook want the payout. Then we go over to the Sackler family. Now, the Sackler family is the family that owns, Purdue, which comes up with the Oxycontin, right? And the Sackler family is extremely wealthy family. And so they're being sued for the opioid epidemic because of the way that they marketed it and all that stuff. So that's what's going on right now, right? Again, white reparations, right? All this talk about personal responsibility, don't do drugs. If you don't want to do drugs, then just don't do drugs. Personal responsibility, all that goes out the door. Right now, it's all about, the Sackler family advertised and for Oxycontin in a certain way that manipulated the minds of people, and so they couldn't make decisions for themselves, and so that they got people hooked on Oxycontin, and that's why we want white reparations. Right? This is what they say: white reparations. White reparations for Sandy Hook, white reparations for the opioid epidemic, right? But when it comes to any other group, I talked about this with the Native Americans. Native Americans are known for being alcoholics. Native Americans lack the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase. So they have a difficult time, or they have less of it. So they have a difficult time breaking down alcohol. So they get very easily drunk. Asians are the same way, because Asians and Native Americans are pretty much cut from the same cloth, right? But they go, oh, these Native Americans, they have high domestic violence rates and they have high homicide rates and high drug abuse rates and high alcoholism. And see, that's just because the Native Americans are lazy. Not because we stuffed them into reservations, not because we gave them the alcohol. You can't ask them who gave them the alcohol. No, it's just they're just like that. But when it comes to the opioid epidemic, it ain't the white people are just like that. No, we gotta blame the Sackler family. Oh, and it helps the fact that they're Jewish, right? We gotta blame them. It's their fault. No personal responsibility. Same with Sandy Hook. No, we can't talk about white male pathology when it comes to the fact that they want to shoot the fucking place up and they want to kill everybody. No, we can't talk about white male pathology. No, it's Remington's fault. It's Remington's fault. They're the reason why these white males are out here shooting the fucking place up. That's what it is. I mean, it's like the dumbest shit in the world. Like, it's because of just the mere sight of guns is affecting toxic masculinity. Then you might as well sue all the movies in Hollywood. Hell, sue the police departments. Why don't you? Because they use guns and they like guns, and just seeing a police officer walking down the street open carrying with his duty utility belt, that makes it more prone to white boys shooting up schools. Like, it's just the dumbest shit in the world. No personal responsibility. But white people, ooh, they love personal responsibility. They love to run around with that phrase, personal responsibility. But when it comes to their shit, they're never personally responsible. You see? Now it says the effect of, everything outside of that. And I'm saying white people, they have done extensive research on the psychology, and the psychopathy, of how people are affected when you put them in certain situations and circumstances. They're examining that now with a solitary confinement. Go on YouTube, pull up plenty of videos about how solitary confinement negatively affects people. They use it as a punishment. And people literally lose their minds. So, like, you'll have somebody who's in prison, they get into a fight, they put them in solitary confinement, and then they lose their minds being in solitary confinement because human beings are social creatures. So then that person goes crazy in solitary confinement, and they create more of a monster than the monster that they put in the prison in the first place. And then they'll argue, well, see, that's why we need to put them in solitary confinement. Like, no, motherfucker, they're that way because you put them in solitary confinement. And they do the same bullshit to black people in the comment sections. Look at all the violence of the black community. And, we just had a teenager get shot outside of a high school in Philadelphia. And the white people, go find the videos on YouTube, white people in the comment section trolling. It's what they do. Again, but the thing is like they actually believe what they're saying. I don't think that it's just a matter of, let me go over here and troll, but I know better. Like, no, they actually believe the shit. Oh, it's the culture. It's the culture. Yeah, it is the culture. The culture that's a byproduct of prolonged exposure to poverty as a result of white supremacy. The redlining, the blockbusting, the Jim Crow, the urban renewal, the convict leasing, the mass incarceration, the prison industrial complex, all that shit. So it's like, it should be no duh why we have these problems in the black community, why you have a higher percentage of criminal activity. It's like, I love why isn't this a hate crime? They start foaming at the mouth because it's an economic crime. That's why. You're not going to see freaking white people running around trying to rob black people 9 times out of 10 if black people, due to the system of white supremacy, are and have been disproportionately poor to white people. You're not going to see that. Same thing with the Asians that like to show up in the black community and set up shop because it's easier, and vacuuming money out of the black community. And then wonder why they're getting robbed in Oakland and shit. I'm like, you're right next to the hood. They think you got money. That's why. It's not because you're Asian. And it's not because you're white. It's because they think you got money. But they're running around, whoa, why isn't this a hate crime? It's fucking stupid. And then the pathological problems that we do have as a result of people being born and raised and growing up in slums and poverty and all the behavioral problems, again, brought about by the situation and the circumstances that the system of white supremacy created. But see, white people, they love to, it's not cause and effect to them. It's effect and cause. They like to work backwards. They like to say, oh, well, see, you know, they're just like that. That's just see the end result of what you see is that's just the end. Like, that's just what it is. Like, that's their starting point. Like I said before, like, white people like to start movies at the end. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you have a villain in a movie, the movie typically tries to make you understand the villain, right? It's like, yeah, damn, like, you know, the movie will start off where, like, the villain's whole family gets killed or some shit like that, or a bomb was dropped in Baghdad, and the next thing you know, he's the guy at the end of the movie, you know, doing the damn, you know, the Die Hard evil villain shit, right? You know what I mean? You know, same thing with you know, the Call of Duty, the villain in Call of Duty. You know, the one where what's that level called? No Russian. You know, where they basically have you be a mass shooter and shoot up the damn airport, right? It's like there's a lead up to why the Russian feels the way that the Russian feels, which turned him into a terrorist. But see, white people, they just want to pretend like, oh no, they're just evil. They're just like that. When truth be told, there's more white people that exhibit the they're just evil traits than black people or any other minority group. Because all the fucked up shit that white people have done. They're the ones running around like they're like the Klingons of planet Earth. They're the ones running around rape, pillaging, and plunder and violating people and stealing people's land and resources and everything. That's white people. You know, and then they try to sit up there and act like, because again, that fear of loss, that oh shit, I've benefited on, you know, based off of this as a group, and I most certainly don't want to have to pay any of this shit back. So what do? Deny. No, they're just like that. Those people are just like that. They're dysfunctional human beings. They're just like that. You see? But again, let white people go through some shit. Oh, we gotta sue. We need reparations because this was done to us and this was wrong. And this caused massive amounts of pain and suffering that we couldn't do anything to stop. Right? They start you know, throwing up the very same things that especially black people we highlight and we talk about. You know, it's like you create fucked up situations and circumstances, and then you're surprised at the outcome. You know, and look, as an African American, yeah, it is embarrassing when you spend one summer bitching about George Floyd. You go out there, the cop got his knee on the neck for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. And then, like, after a year passes, we go right back to, you know, the Ray and Pookie shit and whatnot, which, again, they don't care. They ain't woke. They ain't, you know, again, the whole pandemic, the bottom fucking fell out. People who were in poverty are now prostrate on the floor. So it's like, what do you think? Crime was going to go down? Like, I keep asking that question, but it's just mind-boggling to me. That's why at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, if you're going to strap up, you need to strap up now. Because nobody's exempt from the shit. If a motherfucker's out there and he's hungry and you just so happen to be buried in your cell phone, as you walk to your car, you might just get run up on. I don't care who's doing the running up on. You might just get run up on. You know, but I mean, it's just white people, man. I swear, like, I swear they're pathological. They're pathological. I mean, the amount of energy that they put forth, you know, to deny, you know, the legacy of white supremacy and what their ancestors, you know, did and what they continue to do is just, it's mind blowing. It shouldn't be of any surprise, but it's mind blowing. Like the gaslighting and all that shit. I'm like, bro, this shit is well documented, man. Like, this is undeniable. All this shit was done. And yes, it has a serious residual impact on the things that you see transpiring right now and today. And white people know this. This is why there's articles like Ghost of White People Past and shit. Because they don't want to be subject to anybody else's rule. They don't want to be subject to anybody else's rules, regulations, authorities, standards, none of that. They don't want their kids being affected by that. But yet black people are constantly affected by the system of white supremacy. We're constantly affected by the poverty and the conditions brought about by the system of white supremacy. So pardon our dysfunction. But to sit there and try to act like, oh, you know, they're just like that, when white people set it up this way, fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. You know, but like I said, man, white reparations, you know, this happened to us. We need reparations, right? They need payouts. They need cash, dollar amounts. Notice they ain't talking about anything else other than cash payouts. They're not talking about, oh, we need white reparations for, you know, well, how about some free scholarships? No, cash payouts. Notice that. Anytime white people are wrong, cash, nigga. We want cash. We don't want all this other, you know, oh, well, how about we give you free Sundays at Wendy's? Like, no. They want cash. Go ahead, look it up. You ain't gonna find anything but cash payouts. Rulings in the billions and the millions of dollars. That's what you're gonna find. So, anyway, I'm pretty much at my destination. I just had to get that off my chest because I'm so tired of these goddamn comments in the comment sections of just the white people, you know, in there like acting like they're talking sense, and they're not talking sense. They're just talking pure racism, trying to find, you know, justifications and shit. See, the niggers are just like that. See, they're just breathing up all the white man's air. They're just like that. But then when it comes to their shit, oh, personal responsibility goes out the window. Then all of a sudden it turns into, oh, well, you know, we're affected by this, and it's the advertising, and it's the way this shit was promoted, and so we couldn't resist but to do opioids, and we couldn't resist but to shoot up schools because, you know, it was the way it was advertised. You see? Anyway, that's all I gotta say. That's my video. SWP out.